Off the 16th Annual National Short Track Championship 200-lap feature event. And we're waiting for the pit crews to clear from the infield area so we can introduce and meet each one of these drivers as they are lined up for today's race. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could at this time call to the line the driver of car number 14 from excuse me. From Linwood, Illinois, ladies and gentlemen, our pole sitter, Mr. Frank Gwalinski. And if we could have Frank come up to receive the pole sitter award from the Wisconsin fans from auto racing. This is an annual tradition here at the Rockford Speedway. They receive this trophy for being the pole sitter of the NSTC 200. They've got a lot of folks here from the Wisconsin fans for auto racing who are going to an Illinois driver this year, but I'm sure he appreciates it just as well as anyone else would. Frank Gwalinski in the number 14 car, your pole sitter for today's 200-lap National Short Track Championship. 7. From Milton, Wisconsin, in the Deppy Amsoil Tri-City Buggy 81 Camaro, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Watson. The inside of row number 2 and car number C3 from York, Ontario, Canada, in the Cummings, Ontario 73 Mustang, Randy Slack, ladies and gentlemen. Outside of him in car number 47 from Battle Creek, Michigan, in the Rushmore Body Shop 81 Camaro, Fred Campbell. The inside of row number 3 in car number 2 from Madison, Wisconsin, in the Nickerson Volden Racing 81 Camaro, John Ziegler. Outside of him in car number 28 from Roseville, Minnesota, in the R&H Farm Service 81 Camaro, Jim Weber. Inside of row number 4 from Rockford, Illinois, in car number 19 in the Junction Auto Parts Brzezinski Racing Engine 81 Camaro, Wayne Lensing. Outside of him in car number 79 from Chicago, Illinois, in the Car Parts Unlimited 80 Camaro, Bobby Dutter. The inside of row number 5 in car number 7 from Nacita, Wisconsin, in the Burns-O-Matic 81 Camaro, Jim Sutter. Your current king of the hill here on the NSTC 200, last year's winner, Jim Sutter. And outside of him in car number 36, one of the 3-time winners of the NSTC 200 from Twin Lakes, Wisconsin, in the Nielsen Shear Prototype 81 Camaro, Joe Shear. The inside of row number 6 in car number 6 from Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, in an 81 Camaro, Steve Moll. Outside of him in car number 23 from Oakville, Ontario, Canada, in the Hanley Enterprises 81 Camaro, Junior Hanley. The inside of the next row in car number 10 from East Hazel Crest, Illinois, in the M&J Auto Wrecking 80 Camaro, Larry Middleton. Outside of him in car number 35 from Beloit, Wisconsin, in the Patch Press 81 Camaro, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Pearson. The inside of the next row in car number 27 from Chicago, Illinois, in the American Towing 81 Camaro, Greg Guzzo. Outside of him in car number 61 from New Lenox, Illinois, in the Protector Corporation 80 Camaro, Larry Schuler. The inside of row number 9 in car number 17 from Silver Lake, Wisconsin, driving the 5-star fabricating 79 Camaro, Fran Preste. Outside of him in car number 30, from Barnesville, Minnesota, in the Auto Truck Service 80 Camaro, Steve Murjick. And the inside of the next row, in car number 70, from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, Don James. Outside of him, in car number 3, from Bensonville, Illinois, Ed Hoffman. In row number 11, car number 92, from Dowsman, Wisconsin, Conrad Morgan. Outside of him in car number 21, from Cudahy, Wisconsin, in the DT Power Tool 81 Camaro, Dave Tomzak. The inside of row number 12 in car number 114, from Franklin, Wisconsin, in the WOKY Camaro, Al Schill. Outside of him in car number 25, from Shakopee, Minnesota, in the Auto Central Supply 81 Camaro, Mel Wallen. The inside of row number 13 in car number 125, from Waterville, Michigan, in the Lane that's Automotive 81 Camaro, Doug Lane. Outside of him in car number 56, from Chehanan, Illinois, in an 80 Camaro, Tony Hurtko. And in row number 14, one of our Lucky Dog Dryer winners at car number 51, from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, in the Budweiser 81 Camaro, Dennis Vogel. And outside of him, our other Lucky Dog winner in car number 26, from Roscoe, Illinois, in the Classic Customs 80 Camaro, Bill Burkheimer. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your 28 cars for today's NSTC 200. And if I could at this time, send the microphone down to the start-finish line to where Mr. and Mrs. Deary are going to give you the annual welcome. And as soon as we get all the drivers inside their cars, that plea, that starts everyone's hearts beating a little bit faster for them to fire up the ridges. I'm also going to turn the microphone over here in the tower to our guest announcer of the NSTC 200, also from Minnesota and a good friend of Rockford Speedway, Mr. Stu Reamer.
We're just about ready to start. We've got to wait and get a pair of driver's gloves for somebody. Anybody got an extra pair of driver's gloves? While we're waiting for the driver's gloves, on behalf of the Rockford Speedway, the Deary family, and the staff, let us thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your kindness in attending our programs this weekend. We've tried to make it entertaining for you, and we think we've got some of the finest drivers available, and we know that the shows to this point have been great. And again, thank you so much for coming, and we're looking forward to see you back next year for our 17th annual Short Track Championship, which will be the end of our 35th year of racing here at Rockford Speedway. Let's go, we can't wait. Now, in the tradition of racing, in the over 50 years of competitive motorsports, the famous words,
"Gentlemen, start your engines."
And there it is, the sound we've been waiting for, and the traditional release of the balloons on the infield. A colorful sight, getting ready for the climax, the wind-up of this great weekend of racing. Okay, crew members holding their hands up, signifying that the cars are running in each of the rows, and the signal is given to move them away They head into the first turn, led by Golinski in car number 14 and Dave Watson in car number 37. On the second row, Randy Slack, the youngster from Ontario, the son of the owner of one of the finest speedways in Canada, Cayuga Speedway. On the outside in that row, car number 47, Fred Soupy Campbell out of Battle Creek, Michigan. The next row back, Johnny Ziegler showing new colors in the number 2 car. Used to seeing John in the green, bright green and black machines. Can't ever recall seeing him drive anything that didn't have those colors on it somewhere, but he's in the number 2 car this afternoon. Jimmy Weber out of Roseville, Minnesota. Had such a heartbreaker in the 300 at the Minnesota State Fair, running well up in the money until the very late laps when the engine let go on the car. And also in this field, to the delight of Minnesota fans, young Steve Mergic, who put on such a tremendous charge in one of the 50 lappers last night to earn his way into this event. That was certainly one of the highlights of this weekend of racing, along with watching Dave Watson last night fend off the challenge of Junior Hanley and Jim Sauter in the Race of Champions. And I guess another of the highlights has to be the opportunity to watch one of racing's most innovative builders, the guy that's known as one of the foremost backyard aerodynamicists in racing, Junior Hanley, out of Oakville, Ontario, Canada, and is also one hell of a race driver, as you're going to find out if you haven't already on this weekend. And they're giving them a few laps now to properly warm up those tires, get the engines up to operating temperature on this absolutely gorgeous northern Illinois afternoon. Just a slight, pleasant breeze blowing, the temperature in the upper 70s, I guess, and it just couldn't be a finer afternoon for racing. And now Bill Gromley, our starter, is signaling to them they will go one more lap. And our honorary starter, Dwayne Sweeney, of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, holding the yellow flag, working with Bill Gromley down there. He's going to officially drop the green flag. And we are getting ready to go down the backside. There they are, beautifully aligned, and what a gorgeous sight. The multicolored cars moving through the turn as they come down for the green flag. It's going to go right now. Dwayne Sweeney drops it on them, and they're underway into the first lap. All right, here we go. Lap number 1 coming to a close, and Dave Watson, a familiar name here at Rockford Speedway, got the number 37 car up front, closely tagged by the number 47 machine of Fred Campbell, the Battle Creek, Michigan driver, and then young Randy Slack, and the only Mustang in the field, along with Golinski. And watch the traffic back along the line. Ziegler encountering trouble very early on in the race, and Ziegler is out in the second lap of this event, putting it on the backside leg, heading for the pit area when he gets a chance. If not, we'll know he's out of it. He's not even making an effort to move it toward the pits. And now Soupy Campbell in the number 47 car is up front, the Battle Creek, Michigan driver, leading the early laps of this 16th annual 200 at the National Short Track. Into the pits in car number 3 goes Ed Hoffman. Ed Hoffman dropping out early on. Let's see if Ed is going to be back out later. An early toll of top cars out there with both Ziegler and Hoffman dropping out. Campbell continues to lead it, the Michigan driver, followed by veteran Rockford Speedway driver and former winner of the short track, Dave Watson. Randy Slack giving him all he can handle on the inside in car number 3, and Weber closing in. Look out, Weber in 28, and Watson making contact down there as Weber drifted out through turn 3, made contact with the rear end of Watson's number 37 car. Moving in now in car number 78 is Gary Porter, the Stevens Point, Wisconsin driver. Bobby Dotter. Bobby Dotter in the number 79 car moving in now, along with Shear, and Shear's on the inside, alongside of Watson, alongside of his old teammate. They ran as a team for many years here at Rockford Speedway, and now Shear closes it up, moves into the number 4 position out there. Joe Shear, 3-time winner of this race in car number 36. Shear now closing on Weber in the 28 car, and Junior Hanley also closing up. He's into 7th place out there right now in car number 23, and he moves alongside of Watson. Hanley moving alongside of Watson. Goes by him on the low side. Junior Hanley now into 6th position out there and looking Weber over as they move down the front straightaway. Sauter, Jimmy Sauter, last year's winner here, has moved into the number 4 position. He's tailing Shear. And Shear now closing it up on Randy Slack and the 47 car of Fred Campbell. All right, the leaders catching up to the tail end of the field now, closing in on Mel Wallen, the Shakopee, Minnesota driver, and the number 25 car who's trailing the field right now. And Campbell in 47, Slack in 3, Shear now in 3rd place in 36, and Jimmy Sauter in the number 7 car. All close in on the tail end cars in the field. Moving to the outside, down the backside, and into turns 3 and 4. Campbell, Slack, Shear, Sauter, Hanley now up into the number 5 spot. And a big, long, fast freight of very expensive racing machinery down that back straightaway and into the turn. Campbell still hanging on to the lead as they begin to move up back along the line. All right, now Randy Slack in the Mustang, number 3, down hard on the inside, challenging for the lead down the front chute. It is Randy Slack in car number 3, moving into the lead. Shear goes by Campbell, Sauter goes by Campbell, and now on the low side it is 23, Junior Hanley, moving by Campbell and into the number 4 position. Fred Campbell in the course of 2 laps out there dropped 4 positions. And now Joe Shear challenging for the lead, moving in on Randy Slack and looking at the low side in the front straightaway. Shear may have him. Watch him now. Shear is a master at driving this track, and Randy Slack in his first competition here this weekend. And Shear is right on top of him as they come down into the front straightaway. And Sauter also putting the pressure on Shear. Sauter now closing on Joe Shear. What a battle those two had here last year in the 200. Tremendous battle. And they're at it again as they sit out there in 2nd and 3rd position. Randy Slack holding the lead now in the 200 at lap number 22. But under tremendous pressure from Joe Shear in 36, Sauter in 7, and Hanley now is up into 4th position in car number 23. And look out for Junior Hanley. He is a charger. All right, picking off the tail enders now. They move up around the high side of car number 125, Doug Lane, the Waterfleet, Michigan driver. Slack still on the lead now. Shear playing a waiting game now. I think Shear knows that he can go by Slack, but he's going to pick a very, very safe spot to do it. He's going to wait until there's plenty of room down on the low side and a straightaway to work by him on. On the first turn, we've got cars spun. The yellow is out, and the cars split to get around the traffic over there. Shear narrowly avoiding getting into the tail end of the number 30 car that's on the wall, and that is young Steve Murgic. We didn't see the start of that one over there. 3 cars involved, 4 cars involved directly, and a couple of them coming to a screeching stop. A couple of the leaders, Jim Sauter in the number 7 car, and Joe Shear sliding in to within a couple of feet of the number 30 car of Steve Murgic. Well, there's tough luck for young Murgic, who did such a superb job last night in qualifying to get into this 200, and he's working right now on removing some sheet metal over there. And that would seem to indicate that the number 30 car may be okay, and maybe he's going to be able to get it back in there. All right, we couldn't see the number on the other car involved. Fran Preste, the Silver Lake, Wisconsin driver, was another of the cars involved. The number 10 car of Larry Middleton. car number 30, Steve Merjic, heading into the pits to get the rest of the car. Seems to be driving all right. All right, Steve Merjic has come out of the pits in the number 30 car minus a front fender, and here's the green. And on the green, Junior Hanley is right down there on the inside looking at the available space and not finding it as Randy Slack gets a good jump off the start, and Fran Preste in the 17 car in trouble again almost immediately. And on the backside leg, looking at that pit entrance, he's going to dive for the pits right now. Get out of there, Fran. All right, here's your leaders. In car number 3, Randy Slack. In car number 23, Junior Hanley. The Tin Man, as he's widely known for his innovative body concepts. He's driving one of those famous Hanley wedges. He's down on the inside, challenging Slack for the lead. Slack has raced Hanley many, many times in their native Canada, and right now he has given him all he can handle, but Hanley's on the inside, and he's going to go. Junior Hanley in the 23 car, looking out the side of the window and concentrating every effort on getting by Slack. Finding the room down on the inside, Slack staying with him for the moment, but now Hanley is all the way out in front of the number 23 car. And on the 30th lap of this one, Junior Hanley takes the lead away from Randy Slack. All right, Hanley out front. Second is Slack in 3. Third is Fred Campbell in the number 47 car. Fourth is Golinsky in car number 14. Fifth is the number 19 car of Wayne Lensing. And 70, Don James. We thought for a moment it was Joe Shear. The two cars look very much alike from the back, but it is Don James, the Minnesota driver, dropping out and parking it over there on the backside leg of the figure 8 course. And let's take a look back along the line now as Hanley moves in on the tail enders out there. Hanley is the leader in car number 23, followed by Randy Slack in car number C3, followed by 47 Fred Campbell, then 14 Frank Golinsky, then Wayne Lensing in the number 19 car, Dave Watson in 37, and we can only give them to you unofficially. Back of that, we've got Mel Wallen in there in the number 25 car, Jimmy Pearson in car number 35, and then the number 6 of Steve Bull from Wisconsin Rapids. Joe Shear picking up now, coming in behind the top 10 cars. And very tough luck for Jim Sauter out of this race very early as part of that accident over there. Last year's winner will now not be in a position to contend for 2 in a row. Right now, Hanley picking his way through the traffic, coming to the outside down the front straightaway in car number 23, a car that he has already sold and is shaking down for the new owner. Hanley down the back straightaway, picking up 2 or 3 car lengths on Randy Slack in the course of that straightaway. 47 Campbell in 3rd place out there. Golinsky in 4th place in car number 14, and putting a lot of pressure on Campbell out there right now. And a spin in the turn, the number 26 car spinning. Bill Berkheimer of Roscoe, Illinois, spinning but getting well out of the way. And they're going to let him get it back underway and bring it in on the front side. Berkheimer, the number 26, got it back underway now, waiting for a little of the faster traffic to get by. As down the back straightaway, we watch Junior Hanley moving down in behind the 125 car of Doug Lane, the Watervliet, Michigan driver. He's picking up a 2nd lap on him. Hanley moving away now, getting a little traffic between himself and Randy Slack, still in second in car number 3. In third is still Fred Campbell in the number 47 car. And fourth is Golinski, and Golinski is really putting the pressure on Campbell, running tight behind him and trying to worry him out of that groove. Right now on the inside, Joe Shear goes by Wayne Lensing. Joe Shear is back up into 5th place, according to our unofficial rundown. All right, Joe Shear is into 5th. He's come up through that field in a hurry after going into the pits on that first accident. And down the back straightaway, 47, Fred Campbell looked like he finally just moved over and let Golinski go by. Golinski was putting tremendous pressure on him out there, and Campbell suddenly just seemed to back off of it and let Golinski go by him. Maybe he didn't like the pressure, and he's figuring that 200 laps is a long way to go, and he's going to pace himself a little bit. He's got to be careful because right now Joe Shear is moving down behind him. Shear in 5th and closing in now. And Golinski dropping out on the back straightaway. Frank Golinski dropping out in car number 14. There's your 3rd place car heading into the pits. Your 3rd place car has just gone into the pits. Frank Golinski in the number 14. Now we got a spin coming out of the turn. Dennis Vogel of Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Spinning coming out of turn 4, and the field is under yellow and slowing. Well, we're watching a tremendous performance by Joe Shear, who has now worked his way up into 4th position behind Soupy Campbell in car number 47. And Frank Golinski, who had been putting tremendous pressure on Campbell in the 47 car, suddenly got off it, slowed down, threw his arm out the window in the back straightaway, and went into the pits in the number 14 car. Moving Campbell back up into 4th position, and Shear behind him into 5th position. The flag will first come out to slow the field. They will slow for 2 laps. Then the red flag will come out, signaling that cars may go to the pits. They can all go to the pits to accomplish any work they wish during the 19.5-minute break, and then they'll be back underway. Okay, the green is ready. Dwayne Sweeney with the green. Here they come down to the line. The green is out, and they are underway. Junior Hanley in car number 23 leading it, followed by fellow Canadian Randy Slack in car number 3, then by 47 Fred Soupy Campbell, then by Joe Shear, who has battled back all the way from the tail end of the line in the past 50 laps after that early accident. Shear has come back. He goes into 3rd. Joe Shear in car number 36. Moving into 3rd right now down the front straightaway. Drops the 47 car back to 4th. 5th place Wayne Lensing in the number 19 car. 6th place Dave Watson in car number 37. 7th place Mel Wallen in car number 25. 8th place Jim Pearson in car number 35, and 9th place unofficially Steve Knoll in car number 6. All right, down the backside, Hanley opening up about a half a straightaway lead on Slack. Coming into the front straightaway, Shear charging relentlessly in car number 36. Joe Shear still regards this as his home track. He likes to win here. He's won 3 of these national short track championships, and the car looks to be performing very, very well for him out there right now. He is gaining ground on both Slack and Hanley. Junior Hanley Out front, moving out around Connie Morgan, the number 92 car. And Shear is reeling in the leaders. He's reeling them in out there, closing on them. Just a straightaway separating Joe Shear and the leader, Junior Hanley. And I got a hunch that Hanley's going to know he's in for a battle here before too long. Randy Slack, still hanging on to second. These two guys proving beyond a doubt that they know how to race up in Canada. Junior Hanley, of course, probably the all-time great in Canadian short track racing, along with Don Biederman. And Randy Slack has not had that much fame, but he is obviously doing a good workmanlike job here today. As Joe Shear in the number 36 car continues to pick up about a car length a lap on the leaders. Shear is picking up about a car length a lap on the two leaders. You can watch the interval. Watch where Hanley is. When Hanley's at the end of the back straightaway, you can see Shear picking up about a car length on him each lap. I was 67 laps being shown on our scoreboard. It is Hanley in the 23 car. That time Slack got up very wide getting out of turn number 2. And this difficult to drive racetrack sometimes can get to a driver who has not driven a lot of laps on it and is not in condition to expect the kind of a beating that you get from this old high banker. And now Shear is really closing the gap on Randy Slack, and we may have a challenge for second coming up here very, very shortly. Shear picking it up on Slack, moving in within several car lengths of him as they go into the turn. And off the pace now is Fred Campbell in the number 47 car, was running well up in there in the early laps. He's got him going by him all over the place down there. And Hanley coming into some very heavy traffic out there now. Junior Hanley coming into some heavy going down the backside. And Slack as well as Joe Shear in the 36 car continues to pick it up on Randy Slack in car number C3. Shear now within a couple of car lengths of Slack, within one car length as they move down the back straightaway. Slack's car seeming to have great straightaway snap, but Shear, with his experience and the cornering ability of the car, moves in tight, right on his tail now as they move into the turn. Campbell is in there again. He's being lapped now by the leaders, and they jam up a little bit down here as Fred Campbell in car number 47, who is running considerably off the pace now, is right out there in that groove, and the leaders are having trouble getting by him. Now Slack dives for the inside, puts a move on Campbell, and Shear is right behind him moving through. Now Joe Shear to the inside, challenging for second, and on the inside in turn 3 and 4, Joe Shear, master of this speedway at Rockford, has gone into second place and moves out looking at Junior Hanley. Down the back straightaway, one straightaway separating the two leaders. Hanley the leader in car number 23. Shear now second in car number 36, and Hanley is into heavy traffic out there. Hanley moving up behind the 114 car of Al Schill and the 27 car of Greg Guzzo. That Guzzo car, incidentally, is a Hanley machine, the Hanley built car. Junior going by one of his own creations out there right now. Right down the back straightaway now, and Joe Shear continues to pick up about a car length a lap on the leader, Junior Hanley. Hanley is badly boxed in now. He's behind two cars running side by side. They split now, and Hanley goes to the outside to get around the number 10 car of Larry Middleton. And Shear, who gets through traffic on this speedway about as good as anyone out there, is a little bit bogged down right now behind Weber, and he dives for the inside coming into the front straightaway. Weber running right through the middle, not giving Scheer too much room out there. All right, Joe Scheer hung up in the traffic, and there's Campbell coming out of the infield in car number 47. Fred Soupy Campbell, the Michigan driver, is onto the infield in car number 47. He ran right up there with the leaders through the first 50 laps or so of this race, and now he is out of it. All right, Hanley is the leader in car number 23 right here. Junior Hanley in second place, and bogged down in the traffic for the moment is Joe Scheer, caught in there behind Greg Guzzo in car number 27 and Larry Middleton in car number 10. As usual, the traffic makes for some hairy going for the leaders out here at Rockford frequently, and Hanley is out in the clear for a moment, running in the clear, looking very strong out there as Scheer breaks away from Guzzo. Slack working his way through the traffic, following Scheer, figuring that he's going to know the right way to go, and he does. All right, Scheer into the clear for a moment now, but still about a straightaway behind Junior Hanley. He's lost a couple of car lengths on Hanley through the traffic. Hanley continuing to charge, continuing to look good out there. Stuck the nose of that wall and a spin coming out of the turn and backing it out of the infield just in time. A 1:25, I believe that is. Doug Lane spinning coming off of 2, backed it out of the infield. Seems to be okay, but the yellow was out immediately. Need to get back under the green, somewhere between 100 and 105 laps. There will be a yellow flag for a 19.5-minute pit stop. And Jimmy Pearson costing Joe Scheer a little bit of ground out there as he lagged back on the restart. Did not close it up, and Scheer trying to work his way by him out there. Oh, look out! And Scheer gets tagged and a tire gone as Jim Pearson loses it coming out of the turn. He got it sideways, and the rear end of the car got Joe Scheer's tire. Scheer coming immediately back out of the track with a tire flapping wildly and fiberglass spreading itself all over the place, and Scheer is headed for the pits. There's the tire right up on top of Wayne Lensing's number 19 car. Scheer on a bare rim heading into the pits as he went to go by the lapped car of Jim Pearson, number 35. Pearson's car got sideways, got into the rear outside corner of Scheer's machine and tore the tire on Scheer's car, spinning him out of the infield. Scheer immediately getting the car back underway. He's in the pits now getting a tire change, and for the second time today, Joe Scheer is going to have to start on the rear end of the alignment. That's the second time today. He was involved in the earlier accident, had some damage, had to get into the pits, started in the rear of the line, worked his way back up into second place, was moving in on leader Junior Hanley. When passing the lap car of Jim Pearson, he got a tire cut as Pearson got a little sideways coming off of 4. And now Joe Scheer in the pits. They're working on the car. And we should, if there's no damage other than the tire and the body damage, we should be seeing Scheer appearing at the rear end of this field very shortly. There's Scheer back out with a fresh tire on the rear end. Joe Scheer with a fresh tire and a lot of fiberglass missing on the outside rear of that tire, and he gets an ovation from his fans on the backside as he's back out in, going to have to do it all over again from the tail end of the line for the second time today. They got that fiberglass trimmed away. The axle housing seems to be straight. That's kind of hard to tell. The axle housing could be pulled back a little bit, but it's not something that would be visible. And Joe in there on the tail end of the line right now. All right, somebody getting out to get something that was up in the corner out there. They're under the yellow. Yellow laps do not count. Yellow laps are not counting. Here they come down to the line. The green is back out, and they are underway. Now we call your attention that Shear in the number 36 car is at the moment a little less than half a lap behind Junior Hanley in the 23 car. And there's Don James coming out of the infield. James has been having trouble periodically today. He's apparently got a very hot running number 70 car. And we got another yellow out for something, we know not what. Something on the racetrack up in turn 1, apparently. Yes, something up topside over there on turn 1. The green will be back out this time. The field picks it up. Here they come. The green is out. Hanley is back on it. And the rest of them. And it's going to be interesting now to watch Joe Shear picking his way through that traffic. You talk about having a handicap for the second time in the first 100 laps of this race, the first 90 laps actually. He's had to start from the rear of the field. If he could pull it off today, he'd be a genuine hero. Right now he's moving in behind Wayne Lensing and his former teammate Dave Watson, as Junior Hanley out front where he likes to be in car number 23. Pearson's number 35 car puffing smoke out there. Pearson in the 35 car puffing smoke, slowing down on the back straightaway. Pearson may be coming out of there. Let's see. Pulls it down to the inside, slows it down. Here's Don James coming back out. Pearson slowing down to the inside. Don James with a lot of steam and smoke coming out from under the hood of that car, gave it another drive, but it's not going to make it. And for the third time, we see James pulling onto the back leg of the figure 8 course. Wilson is moving very slowly down around the inside in car number 35. That car is showing quite a bit of smoke. In the meantime, up front, it is still Hanley in the number 23 car, and Randy Slack, and Slack's number 3 car is puffing smoke as he gets back on it after backing off for the turns. Randy Slack's number 3 car is puffing smoke, may be running hot on him, and we may be looking at a change up front now. We're showing Dave Watson in 3rd place, showing Watson now in the 37 car in 3rd place. Randy Slack is in 2nd, but he's experiencing some... Watson! Running in 3rd place, Dave Watson pulling out of the infield and aiming the car for the pits. Tough luck for another of the great Rockford Speedway favorites, and Wayne Lensing dropping out on the back straightaway. Wayne Lensing in car number 19 is headed for the pits. Taking a great toll this afternoon. Watson moving back into it for a moment, coming around the inside. He may be going to try for the pits. Dave Watson may be going to try for the pits. Let's see. He's trying to get it... we thought he was trying to get it up on the top side over there. And now Randy Slack's number 3 car is trailing smoke most of the way around the track. The number 3 is definitely having trouble. Randy Slack pulling down to the inside with a lot of smoke showing. And Slack may be headed out of the infield, and he is. There's your 2nd place car coming out. Your 2nd place car coming out. The yellow flag is out at lap number 101. This is where our break is going to take place. All right, and not a moment too soon, that yellow flag with car after car beginning to drop by the wayside. Randy Slack running in 2nd, dropping out. Just beginning to drop out on lap number 101 when the yellow came out for the break. And Dave Watson dropping out just as the yellow flag came out. And now the red will be shown to them, and that means that they can go into the pits. The red flag will be shown to them, meaning that they can go into the pits on the next lap around. 2 laps under the yellow, and then the red flag is showing. Now they can go into the pits, and as soon as the last car is into the pits, they begin timing the 19.5-second break. Junior Hanley's car is down on the ground, and he just got in. He put his shirt on a minute ago. These drivers stripped down to the bare skin in order to get cooled off. Here comes Lansing, here comes Hanley. Tony Hurt goes on his way back out. He did a super job. The Vector rear end yesterday. Was all Hurt on it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They've got to be rolling right now and headed back out onto the track. Pit stewards looking them over down there to see that they're moving on the count of 0. Boy, Hanley likes to cut it fine. He was coming out of that pit exit just about the time we counted 2 or 3. And it looks like the attrition rate, they managed to patch some of them back together for the second half. Some of them probably not running near as well as they'd like to have them running. As Watson said, he's going to try and keep it going as long as he can. He's got an engine going away. Young Steve Murgick is out there with the number 30 car with most of the front end gone from it. All right, they're getting ready to go. A couple of more laps, warm up the tires, double checking the lineup out there right now. And looking back along the line just to identify all of them quickly for you, we've got Junior Hanley in 23, the number 114 of Al Schill, Jim Weber in 28, the number 125 is Doug Lane, the number 61 Larry Schuler, number 25 Mel Wallen, 37 is Dave Watson, the number 10 is Larry Middleton. Number 36, of course, is Joe Scheer, currently in second place. Number 30 is Steve Murgick. The number 6 car currently in third place, Steve Moll. Then we got the number 56 car, Tony Hurtko. And then the number 19 car of Wayne Lensing, the number 51 of Dennis Vogel, the number 70 of Don James, the number 27 Greg Guzzo, who came out late. Guzzo is running in 6th position, but he came out late, had to start on the tail end of the line, and there's the green, and they're back underway. All right, they'll be moving down to complete lap number 102 this time. Junior Hanley in the number 23 with 98 laps to go right now, 98 to go in the 16th annual National Short Track Championship 200. Hanley the leader, second place Joe Scheer, and remember, Scheer is experiencing handling problems, or was before the break, and the aerodynamics of the car have been fouled up by the fact that most of the outside rear quarter are missing on the number 36 car. Scheer looking for room out there, having a little trouble getting by Middleton in the number 10 car. All right, Junior Hanley in car number 23. The car apparently working flawless for him. And one of the few leaders this afternoon who has experienced no trouble so far. Scheer in the 36 car now picking off Larry Middleton, closing now on 37 Watson. All right, Scheer moves in alongside of Mel Wallen in the 25 car. Look out, Watson puts the brakes on. Watson's engine is gone, and Scheer did a superb job of driving A superb job of driving by Joe Shear. Shear was right in back of Watson, and Watson suddenly just slowed it down and pulled it way up to the outside. Shear did an unbelievable job of reacting with zero time to move down around Watson. We thought he was going to stuff it right in Watson's trunk up there as Watson suddenly slowed, but Shear obviously his reflexes are working superbly this afternoon, and somehow he managed to miss the tail end of Watson's car, get down around him, and stay out of yet a third collision. So Watson's engine, which he said was going away on him during the interview on the break, the engine did go away on him, and whether he left anything up there on the track surface or not, we don't know at this moment. The ARTCO, yes, apparently he did. The ARTCO crew is working on an oil stripe down here going into one, and so the guys will get a little bit of a cool it off break here, as we're at lap number 108 and holding. Now remember, the yellow flag laps do not count. Yellow flag laps do not count.
Stu, while we've got a second, I'm down here in the pits, and Larry Schuler just pulled in. I'll make my way over there to see what happened to him. Interesting note, the car that Junior Hanley is driving, he does not own. He's already sold that car to a young man in Colorado Springs named Opperman. And as soon as they get done with the race today, they're going to pull the engine out of that car and deliver it. And next week for the big show, he's going to bring his own car down. So it's an interesting note. He built the car, he's driving it, and when it gets done, he's going to take it apart and take his engine out and sell it to the man.
And he started that whole trend about 2 years ago down in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, when he showed up with something that looked like it was out of Star Wars, and before the day was over, everybody in the pits had the tin snips and the pop riveters out, and they were cutting up a whole lot of beautiful race cars to make airplanes out of them. That's Junior Hanley. He's the guy that started the whole thing, and here he comes down to the line. The green is waiting, the green is out, and they are underway. All right, Joe Shear now within striking distance. Now, what remains to be seen is whether Shear can gain any ground on Hanley. Shear's car, we understand, is not working as well as it should. The alignment, the chassis setup on the car was badly disturbed in the altercation with Jimmy Pearson, and Shear's car is not working as well as he'd like to have it work. On the back straightaway, a wild spin by Don James, and the yellow is out again. Okay, we just caught the tail end of that. Donnie James, the number 70 car. May have been an engine gone over there. We'll find out shortly. Yeah, he's got a big oil stripe back there. Donnie James, number 70 car, let go the engine back there. And the attrition rate this afternoon is really something. And look at this. Down in the infield, right at the crossroads of the figure 8 course, Greg Guzzo's number 27 car. Now, Greg had been running in 6th position in that, I think that was originally a Hanley car also. It's got the Hanley look to it. And young Greg Guzzo is now out of action. The green flag goes out again, and we are back underway. All right, it's Hanley in the 23 car, Shear in 36 now. Only one car separating them. Well, check that. Maybe no cars. As Shear moves up alongside of Al Schill in the number 114. And you can see that Shear is having a little bit more difficulty with that car than he usually has. Normally, he can come down to the inside on somebody on a turn and get by him without too much trouble. But he's having a 2 or 3 lap problem getting by a pretty good running car like Al Schill. Now he moves it down to the inside and still cannot get it in alongside of Schill. Schill has been running pretty strong out there. He, as a matter of fact, is at the moment in 4th position, but he's 1 lap down to the leaders, and Shear is very definitely having his problems getting by him. All right, with a little more room this time, they go wheel to wheel through the turn and out into the front straightaway. Schill still pulling him down the front chute. So Shear is not getting the cornering out of that car that he's used to getting, we would guess. It is not working for him quite as well in the corners as it has been with the damage to the suspension, the chassis. And now Shear
moves out, and he's got a clear field ahead of him with Junior Hanley just one straightaway ahead now. The two leaders out into the clear, and Hanley just a straightaway ahead. All right, Donnie James heading for the infield again for the umpteenth time this afternoon. The Bloomington, Minnesota driver been having consistent troubles today. All right, Hanley getting into a little traffic now. I think what he'd like to do is keep a couple of cars between himself and Joe Shear. Here he is, Junior Hanley doing a Canadian caper on us here today in car number 23, really making it work out there. Looking strong, looking smooth. Joe Shear now once again out of the traffic behind him, almost a straightaway behind, continuing his quest to be the first four-time winner of the National Short Track Series. Picking up a little ground on Hanley now, it would seem, although our observation is that Shear is having a little more difficulty getting through the turns than he was early in the race, possibly because of some chassis damage in that encounter earlier with Jimmy Pearson. But he's twice started from the rear of the starting lineup after accidents, and twice come back up into a strong contending position. Joe Shear. All right, Hanley coming into some heavy going now, some traffic ahead of him, and this may give Shear an opportunity to close on him a bit. But Hanley is known as a master in the traffic. It doesn't seem to bother him at all, at least it hasn't today. He's worked his way through it very smoothly. And he's doing exactly that right now. And we suspect at least that Hanley right now, his car is working. Oh, look out, right in the front straightaway, Jim Weber, and right in front of the leaders, and Hanley with a superb job of getting around the outside. Weber, with a very hot car, possibly spun in his own water coming out. He trapped Steve Murgic in there behind him. Young Murgic had to spin to avoid Weber's car, and I think we're very, very lucky that we did not get anybody else involved in that. Hanley had to get on the anchors, really stop it down, and he almost came to a complete stop, then steered it out around and continued on his way. So Hanley is leading a virtually charmed life here today as far as staying out in front and staying out of trouble. And I want to tell you, he is doing a Canadian caper on us here today. We've not seen Junior run before. We've heard a lot about him, and you have a little difficulty when you hear all of these things about a driver separating the legend from the truth. But it would appear from his performance here in the 16th Annual National Short Track Championships that all of the things we've heard about Junior Hanley, his driving ability and his mechanical ability, may be true. He's certainly making it look good and making it look easy, if we may say so, here this afternoon. Dwayne Sweeney, and we are right now at 128 laps. Seems longer than that, doesn't it? Lots of troubles today, stretching this one out. All right, it'll be 72 laps remaining as Hanley comes down to the line, takes the green, and he's underway. It is not going to be a walk-away for him, that's for certain. He's got Shear dogging his tracks out there, and now we're going to find out whether Shear is able to be competitive with Junior Hanley. Right now, he is really working in that number 36 car. Hanley looking very smooth and very efficient and very cool out front. Shear moving in behind him. 3 or 4 car lengths back, closing it up a little bit as they go into the turns, and then losing a little bit through the turns. Well, we'll keep an eye on the interval between the 2 lead cars. It appears that Hanley is able to stretch Shear by about 2 to 3 car lengths down the straightaways. As Hanley slows for the turns, Shear closes it in to a couple of car lengths, and then as they get out into the straightaway, Hanley picks up those 2 car lengths again. So what we're seeing right now, at least, is 2 extremely evenly matched cars. And that's something to be said, I think, for Joe Shear's driving abilities, because the Shear car did sustain some damage. And as you heard in our report from the pits during the break, the car is not handling, not working well because of the chassis being out of whack after that encounter with Jim Pearson earlier in the race. So Shear driving under a little bit of a handicap out there with a car that is not working ideally. And he's trying to chase down somebody who is really working well, working superbly as a matter of fact, in Junior Hanley. And the interval continues to be exactly the same between the leaders. Shear closing it up to a couple of car lengths in the turns, and then Hanley getting away from him as they get out into the straightaway, getting that couple of car lengths back. All right, the 2 leaders picking up a little of the tail end traffic out there now. And I suppose you got to wonder when you come up behind somebody like Jim Webber, whom you've just seen spin in front of you a few laps ago, wonder whether Webber may lose the handle again. I think the problem with Webber's car is it's been running extremely hot, and he may be throwing a fine spray of water out that's getting him fouled up. All right, they've got 140 laps down. They're working lap number 141, and Shear almost got on the inside of Hanley as Hanley stopped it down a little bit to see where Webber was going to go in the 28 car. Shear was all over him down there suddenly. Looked like he might be going to dive for the inside, but that's where Webber was, and neither one of them wanted to take a chance on the inside. All right, working through the traffic now, moving by Steve Murgick in the 30 car. And Shear has closed it up, and he's putting the pressure on Hanley now. Joe Shear in the 36 car putting pressure on Junior Hanley in 23. 3-time winner of this event is Joe Shear, and many times track champion here at Rockford Speedway back in the days when the all-out late models ran here. And he is now keeping it well closed up on Junior Hanley. He's losing nothing to him. He is keeping it within 1 car length, and Shear is beginning to apply the pressure to Junior Hanley. Joe Shear is putting the pressure on, and he's good at it. You watched him work on Jim Sauter last year. From about this same position, he worked on Sauter lap after lap after lap. He was not able to get by him, but he certainly kept him aware that he was back there and watching and waiting for that one little mistake. Hanley does not seem to make any mistakes, at least so far today. He's been superb, and he's driving what appears to be a very relaxed race in there. Oh, look out, right in front of the leaders, the number 56 car goes onto the infield, the 56 of Tony Hurtko out of Channahon, Illinois, and then Hurtko gets right back out there, so not even a yellow was necessary, but you can see the kind of reaction time that these guys have to have. That happened in the turn right ahead of the leaders. They never even backed off of it. They just aimed at where he was, and when they got there, he was gone. All
All right, they're moving around to complete lap number 150 now. They'll have 50 laps to go as they come across the line this time. 150 laps completed, 50 to go, and Joe Shear applying pressure on Junior Hanley. Now Shear, with a car that may not be working as well as he'd like it to work, has got to count on his superior knowledge of where to go on this racetrack, where you can pass and where you can't pass. So in the traffic, we may see something exciting happen here as Shear looks for the opportunity to catch Junior Hanley perhaps behind a lapped car or scrape him off in the traffic a little bit. Maybe unlikely that that's going to happen, but we know that that's what's in the back of Shear's mind. He's got to be thinking, if I'm going to get this guy, I got to do it somewhere in the traffic. I got to force him out behind a lapped car somehow, pinch him off, and try to get by him. It's a good one, with the two leaders well out in front of the rest of the field and staying right with one another. Hanley seems to be getting off the car quite a bit through the middle of the turn. That time Shear closed it up right tight on Hanley through 3 and 4. All right, we've still got the number 6 car that they're coming up behind here. The number 6 is Steve Moll, Wisconsin Rapids driver. We've got him in the number 3 position out there. And the number 114 car, the number 114 of Al Schill is in 4th position, and look out, coming out of the turn, they got in there behind Steve Moll. Steve moved to the inside, and that was almost one of those times that Joe Shear was looking for, an opportunity to dive inside and scrape Junior Hanley off behind the lapped car. Didn't happen though. Steve Moll moved to the inside. Hanley waited to go around, and I'll tell you something, this Hanley is some kind of a cool customer. Shear is all over him, looking inside, looking outside, watching and waiting, and Hanley got it loose. Junior Hanley got it loose, coming off the turn that time. The rear end got out a little bit, and maybe the pressure from Joe Shear is beginning to tell a little bit on the Canadian. Here they come out of the turn again. Hanley wrestling with it just a little bit, keeping it aimed. Shear right on top of him. Dropping back a bit, looking it over. Out of the traffic for the moment. And again, getting into the back stretch that time, the rear end of Junior Hanley's number 23 car got a little bit loose on him. It may be getting a little slick out there. Some of these cars, I suspect, are losing some oil, perhaps some water, and the guys may be encountering some skatey spots on the racetrack out there. Now, once again, coming into the front straightaway, Shear looked at the inside that time, but Hanley's car is just a little bit too much getting into the straightaway. Here they come, moving down now to complete lap number 165 and pulling off right in front of them, Schill. Al Schill pulling out. We had him running in 4th position in this one. Schill in 4th position, calling it a day, and it's a cooked one. Blue smoke coming out from under the hood, and looks like another cooked engine out there today. All right, they've got 34 laps to go. And right now you can call that 33 laps, 166 down, 33 laps left to go. Just about the length of a good late model feature. And Hanley continues to look very, very good out front. Shear putting the pressure on him, looking for room down there, not able to find it yet, but staying in there, staying in position, watching and waiting for that opportunity that may never come, but he's going to be there and be ready for it if it does come. Again, Hanley picking his way by that tail end traffic with great care. Oh, right in front of the leaders. Mel Wallen got a little loose. Now we got a pair of the lapped cars running up front and running a little spooky out there. Wallen in the 25 car got it sideways coming off a lap ago. And Steve Merchant
was a little spooked down there, had to take evasive action. All right, Hanley looking Wallen over down the backside. Wallen backs it off down on the inside. And Wallen drifting out wide, forcing Hanley way out wide coming off the turn. Wallen's car not hanging on too well for him, and the leader's having a few spooky moments as they're trying to get by him out there. Now they're out in the clear again for a moment. All right, moving through the turn, and Joe Shear with his snowplow all tucked in under the rear end of Junior Hanley's number 23 car that time, almost touching him coming off the turn. Shear keeping the pressure on, keeping it in there, running him in hard into the turns. Hanley moving around Dennis Vogel in the 51 car. Shear following him through, tight behind him. Again, moving into the turn, coming in very close behind him. A little contact there, maybe. And Shear's fans are exhorting him to get out there and go by him. They're at lap 176, 24 laps to go in this one, 24 to go. And if Shear wants it, he's going to have to move it. He had to be satisfied with second place behind Jim Sauter last year. And he doesn't want the same thing to happen this year. Hanley in the 23 car. A little loose coming off the turn again that time. Tremendous pressure on Junior Hanley out there. He's running out front. He's got to set the pace. Shear all over him, putting the pressure on, keeping him honest, keeping him moving. They're working lap 180. It'll be 180 completed this time with 20 remaining. And again, Joe Shear moves in close behind the fleeing Canadian. Junior Hanley in the 23 car, his first time here at Rockford, and what a job he's doing. Tremendous job at driving, and again, Shear is right on top of Hanley. And I believe there was a little contact that time as they came off the turn. It looked like Shear got a little piece of the rear end of Hanley's car. He is really keeping the pressure on him, letting him know he's there, moving it in, looking at the inside, didn't find it that time. But what pressure Hanley is under. He has really got to keep it exactly in the right spot out there. Uh-oh, here's Steve Mergic with trouble in car number 30. Slowing it down, a little smoke showing. Maybe he's going to pull it off of there. Steve Mergic, who's been running well all day long, is going to hang it up for the day in car number 30, brings it out of the infield, joining quite a group of them down there right now. Weber in the 28, Al Schill in the 114, and they're all looking at exactly the same thing out there. All the drivers on the infield are watching that tremendous battle out front between 23 Junior Hanley and Joe Shear in 36. 185 laps down, 15 remain, 15 laps to go in this 200. And can Junior Hanley hold out to the end? Can Joe Shear find the spot he's looking for? All right, down into the turn again, and Hanley got a good bump from Shear that time. Shear working him over a little bit. Joe Shear letting Junior Hanley know he's there in no uncertain terms. We're looking right in the car at Junior, and Junior clutched that wheel hard and made a little correction as Joe Shear rooted him a little bit. 188 laps down, working 189 now, getting close to that 10-lap mark. Down in the infield, Al Schill talking to the photographer saying, watch Shear, he's really working on him. Right, Shear up high, coming off the turn, looking for a possible opportunity. They're coming in behind some traffic. This is lap number 190. They're going to have 10 to go across the line. Hanley completing 190, 10 to go. Joe Shear all over him down there, putting the pressure on, working on him. Not finding any room so far. 9 laps to go, and they're into some traffic out there. Traffic that could possibly give Joe Shear his opportunity. Hanley working to the outside on Wayne Lensing in the number 19 car, heading into the front straightaway. 8 laps remaining. They're working 193 right now. And around some heavy going down there. Shearer for a moment looked at the inside and then decided the better of it. No place to go but that outside groove, and Hanley is using it well. Down the backside, moving by Vogel in the 51 car. Hanley in the 23, Shearer in 36. 194 laps completed, 6 to go. Here they are into the front straightaway once again, running for a short moment in the clear with 195 laps completed and 5 remaining. Car number 30, Steve Mergic slowing again to the inside. And what do you think? Is Joe Shearer going to have to be a bridesmaid again this year? Finishing behind Sauter last year in a battle with Lance Shearer going to the inside as they came out into the front straightaway. Hanley having to correct. Shearer thought he saw the opportunity, but he couldn't make it. And they've got 197 laps completed. They're working 198 right now. There's going to be 2 laps to go as they come across the line. And Shearer's on the inside, trying. The white flag will be out next lap around. White flag coming out next lap around. 1 lap to go coming up. And Shearer looking him over, watching and waiting for the opportunity to make a move. Diving for the inside, could not make it. The white flag, 1 lap to go. Hanley the leader in 23 in this final lap. Shearer goes way up high in the turn. Following him down the final turn, coming up. The checkered flag is waiting for them. Here they come down the line. It is going to be Junior Hanley in car number 23. Shearer is second in car number 36, and for the second year in a row, Joe Shearer has to be satisfied with the role of bridesmaid, finishing second to Jimmy Sauter last year in a great drive, and again this year with a car possibly not handling as well as it should have been, and Joe pulls up alongside of Junior Hanley and gives him a wave as he goes by, a wave of congratulations. And ladies and gentlemen, the very first Canadian winner of the Rockford National Short Track Championships gets a cold drink of something as he comes up to the line, and we invite you to hang around. We invite you to hang around and take part in the ceremonies that are going to take place down on the line down there, where in a moment we're going to turn the microphone over to Tom Deary. Tom, you want to get the mic down there? And Junior is very tired. He was really given a job of work out there in the last half of this race. Joe Shearer working him over, making him stay exactly where he had to be, and Hanley not giving Shearer the opportunity that he wanted so badly. The opportunity to become the first 4-time winner of this race was not to be his today, as the Flying Canadian out of Oakville, Ontario, Canada, in his first appearance here at Rockford Speedway in the National Short Track Championship, emerges triumphant, shaking down the car that's going to belong to Mike Opperman out in Colorado, and what a shakedown he gave it today. Tom Deary, will you take it down there, please? Let's see what Junior's got to say.
Stu will try to get in a little closer to Junior here as soon as he wipes the sweat and the dirt off his face. You can see from the back of his driver's suit, it is absolutely drenched. We'll try to get ourselves in there. I look at the front end of his car here, and it has a little bit of color from several different cars, so it was one of those afternoons today, but it was certainly a fantastic finish, and what a way to cut in a car for Junior Hanley. I think while we're down here, we ought to have a nice round of applause for our second place finisher, 3-time champion here at the NSTC, Joe Shearer, who had one of those days and really came back 3 times or 2 times, I believe, and fantastic race by Joe Shearer and his crew today. But this man here taking the lead on the 30th lap. The solid gold trophy, the symbol of the National Short Track Championship, the world's smallest, the smallest trophy around, a solid gold race car on a block of marble, and it says on it the 16th Annual National Short Track Championships, Rockford Speedway, September 20th, 1981. And I thought for sure we were really going to get ourselves into one of those Rockford-type finishes, as it almost was, as they were side by side with lap 198. And we're going to put the wreath on top of the car. Ladies and gentlemen, Junior Hanley, let's hear it for him. Junior, your first trip to Rockford Speedway, you come back the winner of our biggest race. Your opinions, your thoughts?
It's a really nice racetrack, but I haven't been racing very much this year, and I'm really out of shape, and I got tired.
What did you think as these waning laps went on and Joe Shearer just kept getting closer and closer, and I'm sure you saw him right behind you. What was your strategy or your thoughts?
Well, if he was going to go by, he had to go by on the outside, and he didn't want to go out there, so I guess he didn't go by.
Without a doubt, Joe Shearer did not go by. This is an all-new car that I'll let you take a drink of your RC Cola there. You said you were out of shape, so.
Yeah.
This is an all-new car. What's the plans for this car here?
We built this car for a guy for California, and he's here to pick it up, and he's going to take it on to California and race it. And he's been waiting for it quite a while, so I guess he's going to get it now.
Well, we've got a proven winner and his first time out, the national short track champion. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, Junior Hanley. Let's hear it for him. Okay, thank you, Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite you to stay around the Speedway as long as you